This is Saturn, girl. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Why? Because on March 11th, Venus, my mama, and our lovely Lady of Lust will enter her sign of exaltation, the ponderous Pisces. And she'll remain there until April 4th. Exalted? I mean, if Pisces Venus is so exalted, why do I always see them on their knees? I mean, I love Venus and Pisces, but it's like they have a problem with self-preservation. Like, I'm always surprised to see them in person rather than on the FBI's missing persons list. But seriously though, I love Pisces Venus. They seem so sweet and innocent. But what they really want you to do is ruin their makeup, mess up their hair, and call them all sorts of filthy names. Oh, God bless them. Which is why I want to talk a little bit about the symbolism of Venus and Pisces. Look how it manifests in natal charts. And finally, talk about what it means for you by doing your horoscopes for the occasion. But first, let's look at the fun chart, shall we? Here's Mama Venus, right at the very end of Aquarius. And then let's move forward, couple days, and boom! Mama has penetrated into Pisces. Now, the phrases that I thought of for Venus and Pisces are imaginative inspiration, contemplative creativity, and dreamy desire. Why is that? Well, Venus rules creativity and the media we use to express it, like art, music, and poetry. She also rules some things that inspire us to produce such works, like love, beauty, and harmony. And my favorite, romance. But Venus isn't just romantic love. She's our whole social nature. Pisces, on the other hand, primarily gets her meanings from several places. Number 1, the planet that rules her. Number 2, her place in the solar cycle. And then her modality, element, and gender. The ruling planet for Pisces is Jupiter, our preachy priest of partying. Jupiter may be known for wisdom and contemplation, just like Pisces. However, he's also known for going overboard with enjoyment, also like Pisces. There's a stereotype of Pisces trying to escape reality, which can lead to things like fantasy, reverie, and intoxication. There are 2 Jupiter-ruled signs, Pisces and Sagittarius, and both are known for going a little bit wacky when it comes to enjoyment, hypocrisy, and yes, even fanaticism. I mean, it's Jupiter, who typically is trying to be the moral police, but he never follows his own advice, does he? But you see, there's an optimism with Pisces, which comes partly from Jupiter, but also partly from the fact that she's the sign directly preceding the vernal or spring equinox. And don't worry, I'm going to do a video about the meaning of the equinox too. Shh. Pisces is also a water sign, feminine, and mutable, while Sagittarius is a fire sign, masculine, and also mutable. So Sagittarius is like Jupiter turned outward, active and expressive, while Pisces is like Jupiter turned inward, imaginative and contemplative. Now, mutable means changeable, and both signs are known for being a bit flighty and for trying to escape difficult situations. Like, both signs seem to think that running away solves everything. Well, I've got news for you, Pisces. Wherever you go, your psychology still goes with you. I'm so sorry, my darlings. But Venus in Pisces seeks to express the inexpressible through inspiration, imagination, and creative pursuits. Famous astrologer Austin Coppock, who also happens to be a Pisces sun, talks a lot about the symbolism behind the glyph of Pisces as representing a universe founded on contradiction. He says it's like the yin and yang symbol, embodied in two fish, endlessly circling each other, separated as opposites, yet united by the horizontal line of relationship. With Pisces, there's the implied understanding that things are and they aren't. It's sort of like an embodiment of the whole zodiac, which is also based on this relationship of light and dark. My brother has this, and he's a brilliant poet, writer, and philosophical type. We also see brilliant actors with this placement. For example, Kristen Stewart, who I love. She's mostly famous for her role in the hit series Twilight, which is about ridiculously hot vampires. I mean, aren't most of them ridiculously hot? I mean, I've never watched it, but it seems very Pisces Venus. You know, like a romantic fantasy that never happens. I've seen so many Pisces Venus types who waste a lot of time pining over unrequited love. But Kristen Stewart is known for bringing a almost haunting vulnerability to her roles, as described by some directors. Almost an otherworldly presence, which is good for vampire shit. We also see brilliant musicians like Kurt Cobain, the deceased frontman for the seminal 90s grunge band Nirvana. OMG, I remember when he passed. Oh my God. It was so sad. I think I was in 6th grade. People were crying at school. Cobain was a brilliant musician, to be sure, but he also exhibited those escapist tendencies through his self-destructive heroin use, which he used to try and relieve his unbearable stomach pains. Few people know, though, that he was also obsessed with aliens and conspiracy nonsense. Very, very Pisces. He ultimately took his own life, although some people do debate this. But his titanic influence on rock music lives on. Then we have people who spin destructive fantasies as well, like the infamously rotten former human, Hugh Hefner. He, of course, founded Playboy magazine, which spun sexual desire into a posh pop culture phenomenon. Hefner was probably most famous for his Playboy mansion, which became the focus of fantasies for men everywhere. Unfortunately, he created that fantasy through abuse and exploitation. He lured and manipulated women, even engaging in and condoning rape and sexual assault. You may remember that old reality show that he had called The Girls Next Door. They were basically held captive. And this is the nasty side of this sort of energy. But Venus in Pisces is also capable of such incredible dreams, giving life to ideas that motivate people's hopes and aspirations. Like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., also known as Dr. King for short. Of course, this man needs no introduction. His most famous speech is even known as the "I Have a Dream" speech. Dr. King envisioned a world not only of racial equality, but also economic equality. To me, he was a living example of what real spirituality looks like in action. But what does this mean for you? This is a time to listen and be open to subtle impressions. Inspiration is everywhere and always is. But we have a greater opportunity right now to be sensitive to it, to feel it, and to let it move us, like a wave moves a surfer. Sorry, I used to surf back in California. It's about moving with the current rather than fighting it. Although I think this is the time of year that the salmon swim upstream, isn't it? Try to use this inspiration. Share your loving sentiments with your partner or your friends. When we express our feelings through beauty, like art, music, or poetry, we inspire others around us. I don't mean poetry like, roses are blue, cats are black, now shut the fuck up and get on your back. You don't want to say that. Or maybe you do. Anyway, but to see how this transit will affect you personally, we need to do your horoscopes. Remember, these are for each rising sign. So if you don't know your rising sign, you can go ahead and watch for your sun sign. But let's start with Aries Rising. How about our Aries Rising homies? So for Aries Rising, this means Venus is entering your 12th house of mental health and isolation. Saturn has already been here, making you feel probably secluded and withdrawn, or maybe even exacerbated self-destructive tendencies. But Venus entering in here is a wonderful harbinger of self-care. Take this time to enjoy your own company, or get a massage, take lots of baths, or even get involved in therapy. It's time to declare a war on stress. I said, word to your mom, I came to drop bath bombs. But how about Taurus Rising? What about our Taurus Rising friends? This means Venus is entering your 11th house of hopes and friends. Saturn has already been here, straining your relationships, and maybe even making you a bit pessimistic. This is a time to get out and enjoy the company of friends or like-minded people. If you felt discouraged about something you want to do, now is the time to cultivate a vision of how to do it. But how about Gemini Rising? Our Gemini Rising homies. This means Venus is entering your 10th house of life direction. Saturn has already been here for about a year, making you feel stuck, trapped, or like you've hit a brick wall in either your career or your aspirations in general. Venus entering in, though, brings possibilities of new opportunities. So polish up that resume. It's Venus. So a woman mentor or boss may boost your position or bring you much needed praise and recognition. This is a time to sell yourself. And I don't necessarily mean on OnlyFans, although that works too. But what about Cancer Rising? Let's check out our Cancer Rising homies. This means Venus is entering your 9th house of beliefs and foreign cultures. Saturn here has been deconstructing your worldview, and that can be a bit painful. Venus entering in, though, often introduces us to new ideas. A woman teacher or spiritual advisor, or someone from another country or culture, could change your perceptions of things. Or they may just introduce you to some new cuisine. Like, have you ever had Salvadorian food? Pupusas are f***ing fire, yo. But how about Leo Rising? Let's go to our Leo Rising homies. This means Venus is entering your 8th house of death and debt. Saturn here has probably been making you well acquainted with loss. Either that or commingling your money with your partner, which I advise you not to do. But Venus entering in not only helps our debt situation, but she softens our hearts and gives us a desire to reconcile with people we've had conflicts with. The 8th house to me represents forgiveness, because forgiveness is what? It's squaring an emotional debt. You'll probably be bombarded with memories of things you regret or wish you could have done differently. So take this opportunity to remove the proverbial hatchet from your homie's back and bury it next to Bambi's mother. But what about Virgo Rising, our Virgo Rising friends? This means Venus is entering your 7th house of partnerships. Saturn here often strains our partnerships or forces us into long-term commitments, which can be equally confining. But Venus entering in brings us both fun and lightheartedness. You see, this is the date night transit, and can be a time when we bring some sparkle and romance back to our partnerships. Take this opportunity to show your sweetheart a good time. Alternatively, though, you could meet someone else. Just don't be like that meme with the dude who's like checking out the girl when he's walking with the other girl. But how about Libra Rising? Libra Rising homies. Amber, I hope you're watching. This means Venus is entering your 6th house of illness and obligations. Saturn here often challenges our health and forces us to take responsibility for our situations. But Venus entering in brings us relief and harmony to our routines and our health. This is a time to work on good habits, like eating good food, getting better sleep, and holding yourself to a schedule. You may also find yourself building friendships with coworkers or being invited to happy hour or something. Just watch out for getting too wasted and trying to make out with one of them, because that can get scandalous at the office. But how about Scorpio Rising? Oh, Scorpio Rising. My partner has Scorpio Rising. This means Venus is entering your fifth house of romance, sex, and children, which can likely indicate luck with romance. So to my partner, yes, you will get lucky. Saturn has been sitting here, though, bringing troublesome issues with your kids or sucking the fun out of life. Venus entering in, though, brings luck with romance, as I said, which I know at least one person is gonna get. But it also brings fun of many different flavors. If you have kids, this transit will improve those relationships and hopefully bring them some relief as well. But this isn't just about fun for them, it's about fun for you. I'm not saying you should skip Sky Zone to go to the bar, but, take them somewhere that has some refreshments. But how about Sagittarius Rising, or Sagittarius homies? This means Venus is entering your fourth house of parents, home, and private life. Saturn here has either displaced you, brought uncertainty with your living situation, or made you feel like a stranger in your own home. But Venus entering in is like the Martha Stewart transit. Now is the time to bring beauty to your home, perhaps to decorate and make it feel like a reflection of your inner life. Alternatively, if a parent has been having a difficult situation, you could likely see it improve. If your relationship with a parent has been strained, you'll likely make amends. But don't worry, they will piss you off later. But how about Capricorn Rising? Our Capricorn Rising Hermes? This means Venus is entering your third house of siblings, communication, and local community. Saturn sitting here has probably made you feel like you've lost your voice. Or perhaps relationships with siblings or extended family have soured a bit. But Venus entering in here brings us eloquence and confidence in how we communicate. If you're involved with any writing or speaking projects, you'll make wonderful progress. Venus also represents sisters, so you'll probably rekindle a relationship with a sister, aunt, or cousin. Like that song. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. But how about Aquarius Rising? Our Aqua Rising homies. This is me. Yes, yeah. This means Venus is entering our second house of money and possessions. And Saturn has been here for a while, cramping our financial style. I'm not really good at saving. But Venus entering in brings us some old school Madonna. Like, living in a material world, and I am a material girl. We want nice things, don't we? It's time to go hit up Ross or TJ Maxx. Yeah, they're basically like the Russian roulette of shopping. But if you lose, at least you can take it back. This can also bring a little boost in income, either through a modest bonus, a new client, or some sort of gift. But what about Pisces Rising? Our Pisces Rising Hermes? This is Venus entering your first house of self. Saturn has been sitting here for quite a while, probably making you a bit of a Debbie Downer. Hopefully you've lost some weight though. Probably from depression. Kidding. Venus entering in, though, makes you sparkle and feel attractive. I met my new partner when Venus was conjunct my ascendant, and I felt very sparkly. In fact, I feel so sparkly that I'm like glitter at a strip club. Everyone leaves with a little bit of me on them. But do me a favor and get that new dress. Try a new hairstyle. Put on those pumps, and let's do a little bit more old school Madonna. Like, come on, Vogue, right? Let your body move to the music. God, I love old school Madonna. Leos. Anyway, I hope that's all useful for you. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and click the bell when you subscribe so that you get notified when my videos drop. And my videos are the best. Also, please consider donating through YouTube Super Thanks or through my Patreon to help me keep making this wonderful content. Because I'm very cute and very funny and I know my stuff. Also, I do the best readings. It's science. You can book through my website, frankielynch.com, or contact me directly. All my information is below, including my Patreon link. But most importantly, I love you. You're beautiful. And have a spectacular whatever it is you're having.